Hey, y'all know what it is. Good morning, good morning. Come on, fall in, fall in, fall in. Let's not be late. Y'all know we handed out 4856s like they candy on Halloween. It's me, your boy Trey. As I stated yesterday, we got something going on today. As y'all know, if y'all been paying attention, y'all been coming to formation. Y'all know we've been talking to the to various individuals in the military basketball community as they get ready. A good deal of them get ready for the nationals military basketball tournament, and also get ready to load up for the MBA Military Basketball Association's the divisional tournaments as they cement their avenue to the finals in Denver, Colorado, July 14th. So, of course, what we got today, kind of near and dear to me in a sense, as we was talking in the back, I did 18 years on Fort Hood. It was that during that time frame, military basketball was big. You know, saying all Army participants came through there, but nowhere in where it is now. Of course, certain things made it to where now it has turned to where y'all don't hear Fort Hood, you hear Central Texas, but that doesn't mean anything. It don't stop the vibe. We have with us today the Central Texas military basketball team, or some from that team. Coach Uriah Hunter, Mr. Thomas Gallomore, and Jaye Coffield. What's good with y'all this morning?
What's up? What's up? How you doing this morning?
All right, all right.
Yes, sir.
So, Coach, tell us about yourself. Y'all go ahead and introduce yourselves and let the people know a little more about y'all.
No, definitely. So I'll go ahead and start off. So my first name is Uriah Hunter. I'm the head coach here at Fort Hood for the men and women's basketball program. We have a developmental program here as well, and I've just been here for maybe about right around 2 years working here with the program, and a lot of service members come through the base and doing a lot in the community, and these guys have been near and dear to me and just keeping me going. So excited to be here and a pleasure to have me on. Thank you. Appreciate.
Yes, sir. No, not a problem, Coach. Not a problem at all. Jay, tell us about yourself, bro.
How you doing? How you doing? I'm Jaye Coffield from Williamson, North Carolina. Shout out to North Carolina.
Okay.
Been at Fort Hood about 7-8 years almost. So I'm like the longest tenured player on the team. Had a chance to play against a lot of great competition. It's my last last hoorah for basketball. So
Okay.
man, I'm excited. I'm excited for this nationals.
All right, Thomas, let us know. Let the people know.
Yo, I'm Thomas. I'm from Dodge County, a small town in Georgia. Small town in Georgia. I've been at Hood like 5 months, 6 months now, and
Oh, so you a rookie, huh?
well, hey, I've been hooping since freaking Korea, Stewart, everywhere. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So I hear Georgia, I hear North Carolina. Coach, where you from?
So originally born in Chicago, Illinois. That's where
Okay.
my roots are with my family. Mom and dad are from down in the South. So
Okay.
mom is from Eunice, Louisiana. Dad is from Columbus, Mississippi. So my roots are in the South.
Okay. So Louisiana, with a mixture, Chi-Town, Chirac, you know what I'm saying? So what teams, NFL, basketball, football, baseball, whatever your vice is, what teams are y'all repping?
It's sad to say, but
oh no, here we go. See, when you preference with that, we already know you coming in with some BS.
I don't rep no team in Georgia. They always disappoint. They always disappoint you. They always do it. So I'm a player fan. Like so me, I like, of course, LeBron and Morant. So that, that's it, cause that boy a dog.
I'm pretty similar to him, man. I don't represent no team in North Carolina. I ain't even like the college I went to, but shout out to my college. but
I sure hope ain't none of them listening.
Hey, they probably listening. They gonna talk up to me later on today. But nah, I'm more of a coach's guy, man. So like with NBA it's the Spurs. You know what I mean? With
Okay,
football it's the
Pop.
Patriots. Yeah. So I'm a coach.
Yeah.
Maybe he pulled up to the Nationals
Oh
and you
man,
can
that
holla at him.
that'd be a blessing.
Coach, who's your team?
Oh Lord.
So I'm a Chicago Bulls fan, and
Oh, that's
for
crazy.
me, yeah, Chicago Bulls, Bears all day long. So
Okay,
I got to
Bears.
rep my Chicago teams. So I love what Billy Donovan is doing, but if I had to pick my favorite coach, outside of the Chicago Bulls, I'd probably have to go with Greg Popovich as well. Huge
Oh,
Pop
okay.
fan. I mean,
Mhm.
just I love everything he's done, man, in the time he's been in. Just been doing it for decades. So a lot of respect for Pop.
Oh, okay. Everyone's what's that? 27, 28 years going on. Most wins as a coach.
Yeah.
A very illicit, a long line of key milestones for Coach Pop. So I can respect Coach Pop, of course. So let's do this. Since saying we gonna get into y'all's tracking everything like that. Talk to CTX, NBA, the Nationals, and all that type of stuff. But Coach brung up probably what is a sore subject for him last night. As we know, the rest of the NBA played the last two games. Two games was played last night.
Yeah.
Uh, Denver and Golden State,
Mm.
as well as Milwaukee and Chicago. First, I asked this question, Coach. I'm from Compton. I'm from Compton. I represent Compton, City of Compton's Hub City stand up. So of course I rock with my man DeMar. You know what I'm saying? He went to Compton. I went to Dominguez. I went to D High. I already know what it is. But I give love to other Comptonites. And DeMar went to Compton High School. Did y'all think y'all had a chance, Coach?
That last piece kind of broke up on me a little bit. I apologize.
Oh, no problem, no problem. Did y'all believe y'all had a chance? Did you feel like that it was a possibility that y'all had a chance in the playoffs versus the Milwaukee Bucks?
No, so I'm gonna be honest, and this is being realistic. From a fan's perspective, every fan believes their team has a chance.
Mhm.
But being real, we weren't healthy all year. We weren't healthy going into the playoffs. We knew Milwaukee was gonna be strong, being a defending champs. Without Lonzo Ball there, I think that was probably our only chance to even compete against the
Mhm.
Milwaukee Bucks. So realistically, no, we knew what it was. I mean, it was a great season though, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't expect what DeMar DeRozan did. I didn't think he was going to be that for us. I thought Zach LaVine was actually going to be the guy, and
Buckets.
Vucevic. I thought we were going to get a lot more from him. But DeMar DeRozan was a big surprise for me. I thought he had probably one of the best seasons of his career. And
Absolutely.
man, I'm excited for that. I hope that Zach follows suit with that next year. But we got to get Lonzo healthy. And me personally, I think Chicago's gonna make a move in the offseason. I don't think they're gonna come back with the same.
Mm. That's I had to sit up and keep a watch out that. So of course, as we know, the Chicago Bulls, as I said, took on Milwaukee at home. As the Milwaukee played host to the game five. Milwaukee came out victorious 116-105. Of course, led by Giannis's 33 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists,
Yeah.
20 points from 20 points from Pat Connaughton, getting buckets, 12 points, Brooke Lopez, 14 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, Bobby Portis. The Bulls, as Coach was just talking about, led by, interestingly enough, Patrick Williams, 23 points, 1 rebound, 19 points, 16 rebounds, 6 assists from Nikola Vucevic, 17 points from Kobe White, 11 points from DeMar, Javante Green, 3, 2, and 2. I could agree with Coach. You know what I'm saying? It was DeMar came in, represented, did exactly what he did, but then again, he did exactly what he does when it comes to the playoffs as well.
Yeah.
He doesn't show up. That's been the what's been out there on him, that he doesn't show up in the playoffs. So when they get there, everything immaculate at the beginning of the season, he starts to fall off. Then he to the point to where he doesn't show up. So it's unfortunate. But like you said, maybe having Lonzo back next year, Caruso. I think Levine's the only person that doesn't come back for that squad. But what you guys think about the Chicago? I know y'all rib coach or something. So
Yeah.
what's y'all take on it?
So I'm gonna be honest, cause me, I'm straightforward. I don't care about that. I say whatever, coach. Y'all didn't have a chance with Lonzo Ball, Melo Ball. Y'all didn't have a chance, period. Like, come on now. Let's be real, man. That was like y'all, I don't care. Y'all didn't have no chance. Come on now. Be real. Y'all trash.
He always saying that.
Hold on, I jump back in. I can't help but think he talking about my Bulls.
Yeah,
they trash. Y'all had no chance with Lonzo Ball, his daddy, his little brother, his sister. Come on, coach. Let's be real. You too nice. I'm being they trash. Hey, start over.
Hey, look.
So let me ask you this. Okay. And the reason you can say that about the East, because the East probably had about 5 or 6 teams that set at number 1 this year. Yeah. How many weeks did Chicago sit at number 1 when they were fully healthy?
True that.
That would be my question.
That's very true. I agree with that.
But it's not a race. It's a marathon. You know that. Them boys ain't like that. They just, I don't know. They just missing something. I don't know what it
is. They need to surround them with shooters. That's the problem. They have no shooters, so they clog the paint on DeMar DeRozan. They can switch and trap.
Yeah.
The shooters. So that's what they did.
But I'll tell you guys this though. Health matters, because I'm gonna tell you right now, it's been a shift with all of these injuries. Yeah. And if you look at it right now, earlier in the year, the Phoenix Suns looked unbeatable. Nobody was going to touch them. Yeah. Now you got Devin Booker injured, and people they look like they can't get out the first round with New Orleans Pelicans. They struggling with them. So if you look out west, the Golden State Warriors are fully healthy, and they look like the best team in the NBA.
Yeah.
Then you look out east and look at Milwaukee. Without Chris Middleton, Boston's probably going to go ahead and beat them in the ground. And I'm going to be honest with you, that's going to be a tough series for them. So injuries matter. Health matters too. And whether or not teams are playing good at the end of the year, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
True that, indeed. Speaking of, well, not that. Hold on, I went too far ahead. Last night, as you said, the Golden State Warriors took on the Denver Nuggets. As you know, saying which Coach was just talking about. If you think about when he's talking about injuries, think about they have been without 2 of their top players the whole year. Hence the reason I have made an argument that I think Jokic is the MVP. Unfortunately for Joel Embiid, but he might get it. But I think Jokic he's did a lot, but more with less. Like he's been without his top players, Jamal, Porter Jr. Yep. So that's what it is. But of course, last night Golden State Warriors dispatched the Pelicans 102-98. The Warriors was led by Steph Curry's 30 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists from Gary Payton, Klay Thompson 15, 9, and 3, as well as Andre Wiggins 12 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. The Nuggets, Jokic 30 points, additionally 19 rebounds, 8 assists, 14 apiece from Monte Morris, as well as Will Barton, 15, 8, and 2 from Aaron Gordon, 19 from DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah, that was a big one.
D Cousins, but you know what I'm saying, it wasn't enough. They go home, lick their wounds, and get ready for next season. Yep. What did y'all think about the Golden State? Did y'all always have in your mind that Golden State was going to win this series?
Yeah, absolutely. They pretty tough all around. I mean, people don't realize, but Golden State defensively is they got to be top 10, top 5 defensively. They force a lot of turnovers. They force you to do things you don't want to do. They get the ball out of Jokic's hand. So, yeah, I mean, defensively, they one of the best. And then offensively, everybody know what they do offense. So it's hard to stop.
And, man, they have role players that know their role. So, we know Steph is going to shoot. Klay going to shoot. Draymond is going to be a freaking pest. Like, he's going to be a pest. Going to fire you, going to talk junk to you. Everybody needs that one dude like that on the team. Gonna be a pest. They start stuff. Yep.
So let's back into this CTX movement. So, Coach, when you got to Fort Hood, did you think, or did you have in your mind that you were going to end up being the coach, or how did that come about?
So honestly, the way that came about was I was coming from Korea
Mm-hmm.
I had reached out to Antonio Pate. He was Lieutenant Pate, who's actually up in JBLM now, working with Joint Base JBLE, excuse me. He's
Mm-hmm.
working up there in Seattle with their base. Sorry to get them mixed up. But Pate was the coach for Fort Hood. Cole was actually on the team. He's been here at Fort Hood forever. And
Mm-hmm.
he was one of the first players that I actually had a chance to meet. But what I did was I reached out to Pate. I told him I wanted to get involved with the program. Didn't care what capacity it was with. I knew that, when you're new coming into somewhere, you got to really, make a name for yourself, whether that's coming in and keeping stats, working player development, getting into practice and working individually. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
matter to me. I just wanted to be a part of the program. And I knew he was the guy that was in charge. So I reached out to him, called him. We sat down, had lunch, and he had brought me on. And I think I ended up coming to the first few tournaments,
Yeah.
and it worked out. I think it was a really good relationship right out the gate. And I learned a lot from Pate. Pate's a good dude, very smart about the game. He's been around military basketball for a while, so it was easy to pick his brain and learn a lot from him because he just had a wealth of knowledge. Now, the sports office, they pulled me in once they had a chance to meet me, and they
Mm-hmm.
actually asked me to reboot the women's program.
Oh, okay.
And I told him I didn't have a problem with it. I told him that I didn't mind working with the men and the women. And what ended up happening was we started running with the women's program, and this was pre-COVID. So during that time, we probably had anywhere from 20 to 30 something women in that gym, and it was kind of like a weekly running tryout session for the women because the women's game. I'll be honest, it's hit or miss depending on availability for a lot of the players, and that's the same thing on the men's side. But for the women, it's a little different because it's harder to get them out. And once
Yeah.
we do get them out, though, you want to keep them out there. And COVID really hurt us bad because we lost a lot of the facilities. So every Tuesday and Thursday, we had them in the gym. I was working with the women. We built them a schedule. I think we had reached out to it was something like 18 to 20 colleges within this area, and the women actually had a collegiate schedule where they were going to scrimmage almost every junior college and Division III school in this area. And Central Texas is huge,
Yeah.
so we had a lot of different schools we could hit within a 5 to 6 hour radius. Um, Once COVID hit us, I'll be honest, we took kind of almost like a 5 to 6 month break, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, I lost a lot of those women, and it was Coffield, and I believe it was Cofield, Hassel, and I want to say Ruffin. Those
Uh-huh.
guys, they came and approached me, and it was a lot of guys that wanted to still play ball. The problem was it wasn't a lot of places we could play, and Pate had left at this time. He had ended up PCSing, and what I ended up doing was helping to get the men's program back off the ground, and went on ahead and ran with it. And all of this happened in a matter of 24 months, though. And as we started going and getting the men's program going, it was a lot of PCSs, a lot of ETSs, a lot of folks coming in and out. I think within this 2 years, I probably touched about 70 plus service
Mm.
members here
Goodness.
at Fort Hood, just in return in regards to basketball. After COVID, we really had to kind of take a pause to see what we had. The problem was the facilities weren't open, so we had to get in the community to find local gyms and things like that we could work with. And that was easy because of the relationships that we had built during COVID with a lot of the colleges in the area and the high schools. So with the men, it was challenging for me because I didn't want to turn anybody away. And what I saw was because there was no basketball being played on Fort Hood, this was the only thing that a lot of the service members really had. So instead of looking and saying, hey, I'm just going to take the best 12 to 15, any player that came through and said that they wanted to play, we allowed them to basically come in the gym, regardless if we had that facility or not, just to get some run in. And what I
Okay.
did was Kevin Hill, who was coming in from Bliss, he came here and I told him I needed some help. I needed an assistant coach because I wanted to keep a developmental team. So the program went from me working with Peyton in assistant role, starting the women's program, COVID hitting us, working with the local community, and then building out the program to where we had two teams pretty much, actually
Mm.
three teams, excuse me, the two men's teams and then one women's team. And that second men's team, we
Mm.
used
So
it
of
as a
course doors
developmental
open.
team. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a lot of folks that filtered through it. I'll be honest, it's challenging because it's sometimes I kind of felt like, okay, I'm here, I'm trying to do all of this, and really it was the players, the veterans like these two that are on right now. Even though Thomas is saying he's only been here at Hood for 5 months, he's been around military basketball for a long time. So he understands the complexity of getting on the road, traveling, showing up to practice and getting things done. They understand this stuff. It's taxing. It's a lot on the families, but these are the guys that really help me, build it and grow it, because at certain times I may not be able to be at every practice session. So some of these sessions are led by the senior players like Jaye Coffield here. And just recently we had that happen. I was in New Mexico with the women. Jaye Coffield turned and took the program for that day so that the guys can get some practice in. So from 2019-ish, I would say, all the way until now, that's basically a quick rundown of where the program is. And right now, I would say in that chat group, we probably have about somewhere between 40, 41 guys that are in that chat group on the
Yeah.
women's side. I probably have about 33 that
Okay.
are in that women's chat group. So that's where the program's at right now. I think we're still touching anywhere from between 70 to 100 service members at Fort Hood right now. So
It sounds like y'all got a USA select team and stuff
For
situation going
real.
on.
For real, boy. We got a big team.
Yeah.
somewhat, definitely.
But that makes sense. That's a pool to continue on and go for. Hopefully, it continues. I know one of the things, of course, being service members, we all know at some point we got to go. Everyone's not lucky enough to stay there as long as I did, and so you get an opportunity to continue for them to push on. So, Cofield, actually, Chief, Coach, what is it that you do in the military?
Okay, so I'm a 920 Bravo supply systems tech,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Quartermaster.
that's right, yeah, logistics all day.
Yes,
So I
sir.
actually work out at North Fort Hood,
Okay.
and we work with reserve units up there, helping these guys get out the door for rotations and deployments. So right now I'm sitting in an S4 role. You had called me. I pulled over to the side because I was actually headed from south up to North Fort Hood, but I got better signal now. So you
Yes.
know how it is on these back
Oh
roads and
yes, that's why when
West
you
Range
said
Road.
North Fourth, I was like, man, I remember those days.
Oh yeah. So, but no, that's what I do for the military. I've been doing it for about 19 years now, and I love it. I mean, it's been fun. I mean, I've learned a lot. I just got into coaching here just recently, the last 2 3 years, and this has brought a new love for me, because I'll even say this. Prior to this, I got to give a lot of respect and love to Lamijah Allen, Major Allen up there in the Northwest.
Mhm.
Um, he's in Seattle, and
Okay.
he was the one who first recognized that you should get into coaching. You talk to the players. You have a way of just being able to work with adults. And initially I rejected it every time it came up, and it was a conversation I had with him that led me into saying, okay, what, let me give this a try and see
Hmm.
where this actually goes. And since then I've just been running with it. So
Okay. So Jay,
Yeah.
I know he said you're the elder statesman on the squad. What is it do you do in the military? And then go ahead and tell us your story as far as CTX basketball.
Yeah, so I used to be a 25 Bravo. Funny story. Me and Thomas Gallomore went to AIT together. That's
Uh,
crazy. So I changed my MOS to 91 Hotels. I did with a lot of light track mechanics.
uh-huh.
Currently about to get out, so them days is going past me. So that's a good thing. I like I said, I've been with the team since. So I started off in AIT. I played with Fort Gordon while I was in AIT. Then when I got to Fort Hood, it was like the same week of nationals, so I couldn't play with Fort Hood because I was already playing with Fort Gordon. So
Hmm.
I ended up getting back on the team the year after, and then went to Korea for a little while. Came back still with the team. During that time frame, Fort Hood won 3 out of 4 national championships. So yeah, I mean, I was part of the whole journey. It was a man. Some long days, but it was fun. It was fun, and like Coach said, is he getting the program back to where it should be, where we winning now, and I'm not used to the losing, and I've been a part of some great teams, so I'm glad he came, man, because it was at that time where Coach Pate left, and it was just we had nothing, like there was nothing, and then you've been at Fort Hood long enough to know that Fort Hood basketball.
It's huge.
Yeah. So, and so we not used to that, but yeah, that's my role, man. I'm the senior on the team. I'm the one that pretty much try to bring everybody together. I try to be the coach outside of the coach on the court and all. So that's my goal, man. I know like Thomas said, I know my job, my role, and I play it.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't do nothing outside of it.
Okay. So is there any? I hear you say you're about to get out. Is there a point to where you transition over to? Okay.
Yeah. So right now I'm working with coach, trying to work a little bit into the coaching. So initially this year I actually wanted to go into like, go ahead and transition over to coaching. But coach was like, you got a little bit more and you can keep going, keep going. So yeah, I mean, he pushed me to that level, which was good. Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah,
worked out for the
That
better
that
for me.
pop that pop isms.
yeah,
I hear it from my teammates all the time.
yeah,
You
yeah,
old, you old. I got to hear it from Thomas every day.
yeah. You old man.
But I
Okay.
mean, you still make it work. You still make it work.
Oh yeah, find one way. The one door starts to close. You find a way to slide through
Absolutely.
there, get skinny in the hole, and like, hey, I'm here.
Absolutely.
Like you was part of a agency, a temp agency. But okay, so Thomas, give us your story, bro. What you do in the military, and what's been your journey to TTX?
So I'm a 25 Quebec. I work on like satellites and stuff.
Okay,
But I've been hooping since 2014 in Korea under coach Mayon. Great coach. Like he's like I'm a I'm a 5'9" guard though. So I'm small, but like dude was like so smart though.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was a I was a I was a undersized point guard. Can't shoot, can't really go left. Like I'm a I'm a I'm a like a one-way guy.
Okay,
But I done hooped in Korea, Stewart. I was the lead scorer at
okay,
Stewart. So I'm just like, then came to Stewart like 20. No, last year, and Coffield like, hey man, listen man, I told coach you can hoop. Coach like, well, show me. So we went to Atlanta. We went to Atlanta, man, and the coach sat me down for like the whole half. I'm like, Coffield, come here, Coffield. We getting beat by like 25 at halftime. I'm like, Coach, the road. Like, what? He's like, man, I told Coach, I said, Coach, listen, bro. Ain't not never. Not never. So he's like, no, man, Coach ain't never seen you play. I said, Coach, I said, all right, cool. We down about 25 at halftime. Coach said, go ahead, man. Like, I'm like, Coach, I'm not a scorer, but okay, cool. So I played my role. I scored like 19 in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, we came back.
Coach said, God, what the 19 in 5 minutes. So coach said, well, dang, well, maybe he might know something. Long story short, we came back and won the game.
okay.
Then in 2 games, I was starting. I'm like, damn. I'm like, Coffield, tell him I can play. I sat down the whole first half. I done drove 50 hours. I said, man, something got to give, man. I was like, man, I can't. I said, man, no, I ain't never sat down my whole time hooping. He's like, well, I ain't never seen him play. And it was literally like, okay, we have lost the game. It's now, screw up time. So I'm like, okay, coach. I got you, coach. I got you. Yep. And yep. That's how I started. Boy.
So hold on. I got Thomas leaving some pieces out of that story. Hold on.
Oh, okay. There's always 3 parts of the story.
Yeah, so really what it was, and I think he had part of it right. He did sit for a large portion of that game. A large portion. And I'm gonna be honest, I think, and Coffield can tell you this, I'm consistent. Every player that's came through this program, whether you were an all-Army talent or not, or you played at a higher level, everybody had to earn it. And if you don't believe me, ask Kennedy Edwards. Kennedy Edwards has played at every level of basketball. And when he first came, everybody said the exact same thing. And I said, well, the problem is I haven't seen him play. And for me, I didn't just go off of the word of what somebody else said. That's the beauty of having a program. You make everybody
Mm-hmm.
earn it. And I think there's a different level of respect that you get when you make the players earn it and you let them show you what they can do, not just in a game, but in practice and actually putting that work in. So, to his point, when we were at halftime of that game, they're right. We were down by probably by about 25 points. I think I looked at everybody on that team and I said, we're gonna win this game and get back in this game.
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
think it was a few of them, including Thomas, who looked at me and gave me a look like, Coach is smoking something. Like, I don't know what
I
Coach
said,
got going on. Ain't no way. We down by almost 30 points.
yeah,
We looked, and I think I called a timeout in that specific game.
yep,
And I called the timeout to look at Thomas, and I said, look at the score. And then I told him to look at the clock. We had cut that lead, I believe, within probably about a 3 or 4 minute stretch in that
Yep.
game. And guys
Mm-hmm.
were just shocked because they were looking and saying, whoa, what just happened?
Yep.
And part of it was just that consistency. I think the guys that we had out there, and Thomas was part of that group. It took me a little while to trust, a lot of the players. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, within that setting, it allowed me to see that, you know what, do not judge a book by its cover. And with Thomas, you're right. I immediately looked at him and I said, okay, he's an undersized guard. What is he going to be able to bring to the table? I put him in a game and it was just like hell had been unleashed on the court. Um, every loose ball, he got to it. Every 50-50 ball, it was in his hands. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
every time I turned around to talk to a player, it was a 3 going up, a 2 going up, a layup going up. And I just looked and was like, okay, here's an energy bug. He's kind of got like a mix between Alvarado and Patrick Beverly into his game. And I'm like,
Okay.
okay, yeah, I said I can rock with this. I know how to use his game now. And since that point, yes, he's been that energy bug for us the entire game. And honestly, the other coaches may have known that already. But like you said,
yeah,
everybody goes through their trials and their piece to understand how do you use a talent because you don't have live recording for all of these games. So you hear
Mm-hmm.
about what these players can do, but until you physically see it, you don't really know how to use them. So Thomas was a hidden gem for me, not so much as the military because everybody knows he's been
I already
around, but
knew. Yeah.
mhm.
yeah, once we learned how to use them, I was like, okay, I know how to use them. And you can't be telling everybody what's going on. We going to nationals, Thomas. Don't
I
be
know.
telling
Yeah.
everybody your
He
weakness.
giving him
I can't
he
tell him.
giving him a scouting
I
report
can't
off
tell him
rip.
what's going on, but we good though. We good though, man. I'm ready for nationals, boy.
Everyone gonna be like, force him left, force him left.
Exactly,
Right,
Force him to the
right.
trap.
they still can't stop it though. It's weird. It seems like, bro, he's not shooting the ball. He's going right, and they don't stop him. I'm like, I'm going right. Like I'm going hard right like, every time. But
we've been working on that left. We've been working
oh
on that
yeah,
left in practice. We've been working on it.
and that shot too, not and that shot looking better. And that shot looking better. Hey,
So okay, so that it's good that you bring that up. So of course, nationals. I see y'all 3 seed, 3 out of 20. Oh, correction, 19 because I think he said Pendleton isn't going to be there. Or Marines is going to be there. What do you see as first off in this national tournament? Where do you see the problems at? I mean, I know, like we said, I'm gonna probably hear the regular like, oh well, everyone can. Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
From what y'all standpoint, who are the problems?
so I think it's gonna be for hood. It's gonna be the referees.
No,
I'll be honest, cause
don't get fined. Hold on, Thomas. Don't get fined. I don't want y'all to get fined for saying something that you see the referees yet. So
I
okay,
just know that like we have never had no good referees that's been like equal. Cause it's like it's hood. I don't know. It's just something about playing for hood that I have never like. It's been hard getting calls. I can be bleeding. No, you at hood. That don't matter. My nose bleeding. It's been bad.
I think our biggest right now is gonna be Jackson and
I'm gonna say Stewart because I'm telling y'all. I'm gonna say I don't see nobody else, but I think Jackson is hype. They good, but if Jackson can be beat, just it's a way to beat him, and we're gonna do it though. I just know they ain't gonna say they kind of they got two things that if you can stop two folks, the team is dead. Because we have like 7 guys that can just go. We got some dudes that can just go. they got two guys that can really, really go. If they having a bad night or something, that team dead. I'm being honest. Like, me, don't care. That team dead.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh yeah.
I think Jackson and like you said, Campbell. I'm pretty sure Campbell will come with a pretty good squad.
Hawaii elite.
Hawaii can be tough.
I heard some stuff last night about Hawaii. I said, hold up now.
Yeah.
They got LeBron James too. they recruiting everybody.
So, I say this from a coach's perspective. And I think the players, I don't have an issue with that. I think that those guys, they put the bracket out there for a reason for everybody to kind of look at it. And I've done the same thing, but I try to keep the guys focused on Luke. Luke Air Force Base, they won the NBA Finals last year. So I initially looked at the bracket, and I will say this: I think that region that we're in is clearly the strongest region, because you have, in my opinion, three teams that could potentially win it all. And ourselves, Luke Air Force Base, and Jackson. I have a lot of respect for those two teams. But Luke Air Force Base is the, that's the team that we're looking at. And I'm just kind of saying, hey, we got to pay attention to these guys. I don't want to overlook them. They have some talent out there. They got a really good coach who's also from Chicago that I got a lot of respect for. And they beat us last year. We lost that game to them in the NBA Finals by a basket. And I'm gonna be honest, there's a little bit of revenge here that we're looking to get by playing these guys in the first round. So for me, that focus is clearly on Luke Air Force Base and Coach Paris and the team he has out there. But just looking at the whole bracket, if I had to take a step back and say from top to bottom, the teams that stand out to me, I think everybody knows about Jackson at this point, so I won't spend too much time on those guys. Fort Carson, I think, is another sleeper team that I think a lot of people haven't seen this year because they're an independent. And I think that Fort Carson is going to do really well. Barksdale is one that I'm really high on. I love their coaching staff, and I think they have some really good talent out there at Barksdale. And then Campbell, I think Campbell is it is a slept-on team. I think they have really good talent out there at Fort Campbell. They just got healthy towards the end of the year, and I don't think that their record really speaks volumes to
We
how
spoke
good
about that
that team
yesterday. Yeah.
really is. Yeah, that record, I throw that record out the window. Even putting them at a 4 or 5 seed, I think that the seeds
Set up.
don't really matter for a tournament like this. He's got a healthy team now, and I think that Campbell Barksdale game is the one, in my opinion, that I'm going to be front row for because I really want to see that game. I think that that's going to be a great game. But yeah, for me, those are the teams. I like. I can't really speak too much. I know the guys spoke on Hawaii Elite. I know there's a lot of talented players coming there. But I'm big on chemistry. I think chemistry matters. I don't
True
think you
that.
can just take a ton of players, for a tournament, throw them together, and expect them to pick it up and sync. I think an event like this, you have your best teams coming for a reason, and those best teams, you're getting everybody's best punch. So I don't think you can sleep on any team. So I wouldn't sleep on Hawaii Elite either. I think they have a really good coach that's coaching them. So I think that they will figure it out. I think when you put a lot of talent together, eventually you're going to figure it out if you can go deeper and longer so into a tournament. But the challenge is, teams like that, you got to catch them early. If you can get them early, I think that that can be a problem for a team that's kind of just makeshift and being thrown together at the last minute. And it's the same thing with a lot of programs. I think a lot of teams are adding pieces, and that chemistry is going to show up at some point on the court. So that's where I see the bracket. I think it's going to be a great tournament. NMBT will be a lot of fun. It's a lot of new faces I'll get a chance to see, and I'm looking forward to it though.
Yeah.
Okay. Did y'all play in the MG33, sir?
Yeah.
We played them both actually. We went
Okay.
to Lake Point in Georgia, and I'm gonna tell you, and these guys will probably tell you too. And Cofield's probably been here the longest. I think the one thing I keep hearing is this is probably the most basketball I think the guys have played, since they've been here at Fort Hood. I think that this is our 7th tournament of the year that these guys are about to do. So before the year is done, they will have done a total of 10 tournaments, 16 regular season games. They played in 2 city leagues, so they playing a lot of basketball here at Hood. But we did both MG33s. We finished in the Final Four at the one in Lake Point. That was the one that Thomas was giving you the description of the game.
Okay.
So, and then the other one was the one at Fort Worth that Kim put on. Me and Coach Snowden actually helped her with that tournament, and that was a really good
Okay.
tournament too. It was some real good teams out there.
Yeah, so shout out to
Yeah,
Kim.
yes,
Kim a lot.
that's what. Yeah, the Kim, that's my girl. So of course I in hearing that, like I wasn't there. My usual co-host, my man, Bishop was there, of course, but they wasn't there as first formation. Was there as our military or fraternity. So I heard a lot about Hawaii and the Marines.
Yeah.
That's all I heard was Hawaii and the Marines. Of course, the Fort Polk team, as I heard, came back that they fell victim to the Marines and everything, but they're not going to be there. Does that give a sense of relief in a sense? Like I get it, you know what I'm saying? They're opponents. So you know what I'm saying? I don't have no skin in the game. I'm just a media person at this point, so I have to sit up and ask these questions. Does that give a relief without a team like the Marines not being in the tournament?
Yeah, I
To
mean,
be
yeah.
honest, yeah,
To
cause
be honest,
that's a
yeah.
headache. That's a headache. I don't want to stress. I don't want to stress.
Hey, the older you get, the less you got to worry.
Exactly. I'm
Yeah.
old too. 33
but
years old.
but what I would say though, right now we are way healthier now than we were back then, and we
Okay.
added, I mean, our key piece that were, I mean, that we were missing in a lot of our tournaments. So
Okay.
they gonna see a different side of Fort Hood than what they see in the other tournaments. And if we able to compete with all of these teams in these type of tournaments, I can imagine we get our full roster back, which will be this week. I feel like we gonna be okay. I feel
That's
like
what's up.
yeah.
And that seems to be the rhetoric. Everyone can. That's the same thing in which Campbell spoke about yesterday.
Yeah.
That their teams they had a full team. Of course, when you look at the travel aspect of it and everything, that plays
Big role.
a big role. Of course, when you got unit people can't get, you know what I'm saying, schools and all that type of stuff, we still soldiers, you know what I'm saying, and
Yeah.
service members at the end of the day. So of course that's greatly understood in that aspect. So okay, that what do y'all play on the east or the west for the NBA?
West.
Okay,
So
west,
we'll be out west this year. Yeah,
Las
we
Vegas.
there was a split with the Central,
Yes,
where
tracking.
some of
Yeah.
the teams ended up going to Georgia. We are actually headed out west, so we get the pool is actually out already. We will see Scott Air Force Base. I believe they're up in Illinois,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll also get Davis Monthan in the
Mm-hmm.
first round. So we finished the regular season at 13-3,
Mm-hmm.
all 16 games, and the guys, they play well. I mean, we had a ton of home games. Ended up getting on the road to Cannon for our last weekend, and Cannon Air Force Base is another sleeper team. I know they're not in the NMBT, but Cannon is a really good team that's out there as well. They got some real good talent out there. But yeah, we'll be out west in Vegas this year.
Okay, and that's what the top tier of y'all division of the CUSMB, right? So like the top six, was it?
Yeah, so
Mm,
I believe it was 13 teams when we started out. Top six are headed to the West, and I believe it was the bottom four that made the playoffs. So I believe it was the three teams at the bottom did not make it, 2 to 3 teams.
mm,
So I want to say it was OKCMB, Fort Sam Houston, Fort Worth ended up going out to the East. And
to the east,
Fort
yeah.
Worth is another team. They weren't really healthy all year. But Fort Worth is that's going to be a team to look out for. And I'll be honest, if there is any relief, and I know you talked about that MG33.
Mm-hmm.
Fort Worth was a team that we played straight up out there at that tournament, and they have a really good team when they're healthy. So that's another one. I know they're not in the NMBT this year either, but Fort Worth is another team I think that's also a sleeper as well.
Mm. So indeed, so of course let's talk about this. Right, you just like you said, a couple of teams that were not in the that's not in the national, that's not playing nationals. Of course, I spoke to Mr. Reeves and Richardson. I think it was Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember. We spoke, and they said they send invites out to these organizations because they want the best of the best. But a lot of times it's based on the records, and the records don't say much. As the same thing with Campbell, as they talked about, their record wasn't the best, but of course it's probably a setup when you got a 5 seed that's probably playing like a 3 seed or 2 seed. Do you think with the seeding and the invite, does that make for a better tournament where you have certain teams that's only get the chance to play that you're going to play up against, competition wise, or do you think that there could be another process for the most, if lack of a better words?
So I'll take this one too, and I'll let the
Broke out, coach.
for me, I was really involved
Mm.
at the top, not so much as with the NMBT, but I got a chance to kind of see every team this year because we did so much traveling.
Okay.
And I'll say this, and it's it's not us tooting our own horn, but we were pretty much in every tournament this year that was put on for military basketball. So I had a pulse on what teams deserved what and what teams should have been where. I think I'm probably
Joe got his dial up. He got Spectrum on his phone.
It's probably in this area. Coach, we can't hear you.
He just be talking sometimes. They be talking. Coach, we can't hear you.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, okay.
So going into that, Thomas and Jay, what was it that in which you guys see when you look at teams that probably should have been there or that aren't there, and vice versa?
I think it's like one team that's not there is Fort Bragg. They are a great team, but they did not come. So I'm just like,
I think a lot of it really got to do with availability. So I mean, I think some teams may not make that trip all the way to San Antonio, or I mean, sometimes it's just hard to get a team out there. Another thing is a lot of these tournaments, man, we don't really get the support from the post that we should or that we used to get. So I mean, it's kind of hard you got to put in your own money for every tournament.
yeah.
Like he said, we travel and play at one point in time we was going every other week. You know what I mean? So it take a lot. So I wish that every team could be there. That's my goal, to get every team there. But I mean, I understand the aspect. Like sometimes you just can't.
Which is understandable, of course. Like even like I know for the most part, firsthand, if you have an organization or a installation or that doesn't necessarily support
Yeah.
support the varsity teams, that it becomes a quote unquote a hardship on the team to make it happen, whether they're getting sponsorships or whether they're coming out of pocket, that it becomes a problem, which I believe there's some things that's in works in which they're trying to fix that, especially for the varsity teams, because there's starting to be, I think it's a reemergence in the varsity, from the varsity aspect, and where it may be its support, especially with it going, especially I know for Fort Hood going to this soldier first mentality.
Yeah.
So so I'm very sure that's playing a piece in that. So of course, so with this, so going back, like I said, with the military basketball association, or even the nationals, is it what's the emotions that y'all get when y'all get selected for this, or as a team, as you go playing it, what's the vibe at these games for the most part?
Oh man, I tell everybody, this is probably one of the most exciting tournaments. So I mean, and it's a lot of times you get played. You playing against top tier. You know what I mean? You get to play against probably friends who used to play back in the day, or I mean, so you see people that you used to see. It's a small. Well, I tell everybody, the military basketball is a small world. It's a small, but it's fun, man. It's like you gotta love that competition. Like, if you don't want that type of competition, there's no need for you to even play this game at all. We hear you now, Coach.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I wasn't sure where I think I had a call that came through and it cut my mic off. So I apologize.
Okay. Oh, no problem. So you can go ahead with what you were saying, Coach, because it would definitely look like you was
you
had a
was
good
into
point.
it, boy. You all right. He just be talking sometimes.
For me, and I can't remember where it kind of got cut off, but I'll say this. I was talking about that selection process, and I'm not sure if that's where you guys are left, but for me,
we didn't. That's where it cut off at. We didn't hear you after the selection process.
So for me, I think that selection process should encompass each one of those conference commissioners, and with maybe the NMBT committee sitting at the top of that and allowing those conference commissioners to go through and use a democracy type process to identify who are their number 1 through 20 team. I think the problem is a lot of the folks that are sitting at the top, they don't get a chance to go out and see all of these tournaments, so they don't have a real true pulse of who the top teams are, because they're not seeing a lot of basketball. I'm not tooting our own horn, but we've been to every military tournament this year. So we've had a chance to see every team, either from when they've came, shorthanded or when they've had an actual full roster. So I have a really good pulse on where teams should be or where a team, and I'm going to watch the whole process and kind of back in the win. And I was kind of like, I don't necessarily agree with that, or I don't agree with that. And to me, when you don't have a democracy where you're getting weigh-in from a lot of different folks, what you tend to get is it looks a little biased with the way a lot of the selection being given out. So, for my guys, I tell them, it's always a pleasure to get an invite to any event. But at the end of the day, the players, they want a fair process. The coaches want a fair process. The players just want to play. They don't care. The players, they're going to see who's on the map and they're going to play them. But after a while, and I think my guys are kind of alluding to this, they start to see that the cards sometimes are stacked against them in regards to some of these events. And I think a lot of other teams start to feel that way as well. But I think when you don't have a democracy in the way you're doing business or a pathway, then it starts to kind of look that way. So for me, I'd like to see that process change. I think that those conference commissioners, we can get them involved in helping with making that selection process. And then I do love how the NMBT committee does send out an invite. They've done a really good job of sending out a lot of information in regards to, their tournament and the event that they're putting on. It's a great event. It's a grandfather type event that everybody loves. But I think that we've got to fix that process for the selection piece. And then I think that once you fix that piece, that bracket itself will change. And I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the losers bracket. I think that you pretty much need some medical personnel on hand.
That's ridiculous.
Like that. So, I'm kind of, bitten a little bit, but I'm answering that question truthfully and honestly. That's where, the things that I'd like to see, changed. In me personally, I've always been hey, let's get everybody together, kumbaya.
I like everyone to the table.
And the Military Basketball Association work together at some point. I think that we have way too many great minds out here to have a rift in military basketball right now. And ultimately, that's what you have. The players may not see that, the coaches may not see it, but from an outside picture looking in, I look at it and I say, this is great. There's a lot of basketball on the left hand and on the right hand, but got to get both of them talking together. Let's bring it together and make one big body of military basketball to make this great for these service members.
I'm with you on that, sir. I will sit up and see what I could do as my point. I always like, mediation. It's nothing wrong with talks at the minimum. It's nothing wrong with talking. It ain't got a degree. One of the things I used to tell my soldiers is like, hey, I'm telling you this and engaging you with this just so you have an understanding. I'm not looking for your agreements. And at the end of the day, that's the same thing. Y'all don't have to agree. It's to have an understanding. And maybe that understanding brings something together where it's bigger. But sometimes, of course, like you said, Coach, the backdrop or the stories in which you don't know to where, why people feel a certain way or what it is. But maybe there's a chance for it. Indeed, I do agree with that. So, of course, there's 3 games started going back into the NBA because I have a couple of questions I have for y'all as well after this. So, of course, to the NBA, slated for 3 games tonight. You have the 76ers and Raptors series. 70 Philadelphia leads by 3. I mean, by 1, 3, and 2. You have the Phoenix Pelicans series. Phoenix up 3-2. And lastly, you have the Mavericks and Jazz with the 3-2 lead by Dallas. Gentlemen, do Philly, Phoenix, and Dallas move on to the next round tonight?
I don't think so.
Oh,
and let me tell you why. Joel Embiid, right? That hand injury is bigger than what people think it is.
Say
he
that.
He didn't want to touch the ball with that hand while he's shooting free throw. I would guarantee you that you can be as great as you want to be, but injury, it will stop it all. I promise you. And so I don't know if James Harden don't show up. I don't. It's probably gonna be a 7-game series. I say they win it in 7, but
When have Harden showed up though in the
That's why I said this is an opportunity. It's game 6 on the road. This is your opportunity.
when have Harden showed up?
I think Dallas do advance tonight, and I think Phoenix do, but I can't see the 76ers doing it right now.
And I'll say this: I think that Dallas is the only team that tonight. I think that the New Orleans Pelicans, I think they're going to push the Phoenix Suns to a game 7. That Devin Booker piece is so big. It's kind of like what the guys are saying about Joel Embiid. It's huge, and I think that in New Orleans, that place is going to be rocking. I think that they're going to push that back to Phoenix now. With the Philadelphia 76ers, I'll be honest, I'm not a huge Joel Embiid fan.
You breaking out again, Coach?
They go again.
He just got a call. Go ahead, Thomas.
What he's saying is he's not a big Joel fan, but he's a big factor. Like he's 80% of that scoring, and then Harden is not just like he don't show up, but Harden gets so much attention that it's easier. It's like easier for like Embiid them because Harden gets so much attention, man.
I think he gonna have to take about 20 shots tonight. I think he gonna have to.
He is too, probably. Harden gonna shoot the ball.
He gonna have to. He gonna have to take about 20 shots tonight.
But okay, so I got one question: who thought that the freaking Knicks would have got swept?
Not swept.
Like that was not that. I was just like, there's no way. I felt like in my heart that was impossible. You got Durant. You got Kyrie. Like I'm just like they got swept.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, you can hear you, Coach.
I think Thomas, to your point, there might be some truth to that bus driver comment that Charles Barkley made. It's a little different when you're driving the bus versus being a bus driver.
Being a bus driver.
Yeah. And I know you may not like that comment, but it's a true statement. When you're the guy and you got to be the leader, I think that Brooklyn Nets team, they just had issues all year. There was never a true leader on that team.
You're right.
It's up, in the worst way in the playoffs. Even when those guys were going through it, and people can point to Kyrie not being there, they can point to Steve Nash, not making adjustments or whatever the case is, but there was never a clear leader on that team. And, I think that's the same problem Philly has. Philly does not have a clear leader. And I think that, for the same issues that they brought up with Steve Nash, I think Doc Rivers is also being exposed a little bit too, because this will now be his 3rd or 4th time having a major collapse in the playoffs if he ends up allowing the series to go to a 7-game series. And the Toronto Raptors, let's be real, Toronto Raptors have no business even winning 2. They don't have a clear star on that team, and I know people kind of picked Toronto to win this, but Scotty Barnes went down and got injured. Fred VanVleet didn't play in a game, and that's what I'm getting at. I'm not saying Toronto couldn't have won the series. If they were fully healthy, I would have taken Toronto to close the series out in 6 games. But Toronto has been banged up, and the fact that you haven't been able to close them out with Fred VanVleet being out and Barnes being out, Doc Rivers, come on now. Come on, you got to do better. You got to.
And I often wonder, like, first and foremost, I think, of course, in the series, I thought it was a bad matchup for them going in at the beginning. Once Boston started clicking on all cylinders, becoming a top tier defense, it was already a bad matchup. No different than I thought the Pelicans was a bad matchup for Phoenix, especially when after Booker went out. It was like, this is a bad matchup. And so with that, now you're looking at, like Coach was just saying, with Doc going with the situation with Doc, now you're looking at 2 years in a row. Like I asked a question, I was like, I wonder, if Doc loses, does Doc lose a job at this point? Because now you're looking at, like, you can get us, you got us here, but you can't get us over the hump.
If he loses this series, he's LA's new coach. He's the
LA.
Don't put him on us.
He's Lakers new coach.
Well, you know what? I say this, and this might ruffle a few feathers, but when's the last time Doc Rivers has been successful? It was Boston, right? and he had Tom Thibodeau, as his assistant coach. He was a great defensive mind, but I think there's a little truth behind, and this might sting a little bit even for some military programs. But some coaches, just like Doc, they can't win unless they have the best talent. They don't know how to develop players. And if you look at Boston Celtics, they had 3 to 4 Hall of Famers on that team. And when you have a team full of nothing but stars or just great players, you really don't have to coach a team like that, especially when you have a great staff. And Tom Thibodeau was a real big piece. Doc has not been able to find that for the longest since he's moved away from that Boston team. Everywhere he's gone, he's always had to deal with, okay, I've got to teach this star how to be a star. I've got to teach this guy how to play. What I've seen is a whole bunch of gunshot rounds going at his star players. They use Ben Simmons as a scapegoat, out of Philly. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not giving Joel Embiid a Lifetime Achievement Award because he finally played 70 games this year. We're going 70% season this year. To me, do it more consistently. And that's my biggest issue with Joel Embiid. I get it, the hand injury, but people can turn and say the same thing about Joel. Every year when they need him the most, he's always banged up and injured. He's never available when the team needs him. And that's a testament to Joel Embiid. That has nothing to do with Doc Rivers. That ain't got nothing to do with Ben Simmons. That is all on Joel Embiid taking care of himself. A lot of people don't remember this, but I'll go back about 3-4 years. In one of those playoff games, Joel Embiid was sitting on the table eating a cheeseburger, getting his leg wrapped. Who was holding him accountable then? All of a sudden now we're supposed to ignore all of that and think that, he's an MVP caliber player. He can take them to the front. No, I don't. I believe that even if Philly gets out of this round, they're going to struggle in that next round against whoever it is that they play, because this team, in my opinion, also is another one that just doesn't have any clear leadership.
If they next round, if they get out there, end up playing Miami. Miami's their next is waiting.
They'll be
defensive specialist, boy.
They tough all around
with a deep bench at that.
Yes, you got 9 or 10 that can just go.
And they playing with a chip on their shoulder too, boy. Like they just supposed to be here, like they supposed to win.
But the one team that we didn't hit on is that Utah Jazz, and I think that's another team that it's probably time for them to go ahead and blow that up. I think that Donovan Mitchell clearly does not want to be there. Rudy Gobert, I think they're asking him more than what his expectations are. He is a defensive catalyst, and he rebounds and affects the game in that way. And I think that people want him to do more and be more, and that's not where his game is. I just think that they're asking Donovan. They believe Donovan Mitchell is a superstar type talent, and in my opinion, I don't think at that tier. I think he's probably in that second or third tier. And I think that the Utah Jazz, after they have and I'm gonna be honest, I think that this would be a bad loss for the Utah Jazz against this Dallas Mavericks team. And I think that is probably going to be some questions asked on maybe them potentially even blowing it up or making some major changes with Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. I don't think that that's a match made in heaven anymore.
I think they need to go more zone because they can't. None of them really can guard anybody on the Dallas Mavericks right now.
Zone in the NBA,
the Heat do it. Shoot,
I don't think. See, Donovan, he's not a superstar to me. He's a all-star. He's not a superstar yet. Cause he's not that okay. Like he can't every game change every single game. Like to me, he's a all-star, not a superstar yet. So
what, in your opinion, Thomas, and bringing that up, that's a good point. What makes you a superstar compared to an all-star?
Superstar is like you impact the whole game. Like if you not there, they legit can't win. Like
I think Luka is a superstar. Yeah, I think
Luka,
he know how to win.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that in saying that too, I think it's a great question. A superstar versus an all-star. I think it's a player that can make everyone around him better.
Yeah.
And it changes from year to year because I know a lot of people will get into the conversation and say, "Well, LeBron James is a superstar. He's a superstar type talent, of course." But I think in terms of this year, you only have a handful of superstar type players that are sitting out there. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's clearly a superstar. Don, a superstar. Donovan Mitchell, I agree with Thomas. I think he is an all-star caliber player. At times, you don't even know he's out there on the floor.
Exactly.
And it's, and I think that hurts his team a lot. You look at those Brooklyn Nets, and I think you have to question, where a lot of those guys are. I think you have superstar type talents, and I think Kevin Durant is a superstar type player. I just think that he just ran up against a really good team. I believe Kyrie is an all-star. I don't think he's a superstar type talent.
Hold on now, coach. Kyrie is, I can't lie, man. You can say what you want to say. That man knows how to go get a bucket. And he gonna make everybody look good around him, bro. Like, that's, to me, he's the most productive point guard to me. Cause like he can score, pass, shoot, whatever. But he's just weird sometimes. He is weird.
Kyrie Irving, the problem with Kyrie Irving, in my opinion, is you can't be a part-time player and be considered a star. And then the other thing for me is he can't guard water in the lake. Can't play defense. I'm sorry, the two just don't add up. So that's why I told you that list is very short. A lot of people hated on Giannis, and I believe it was James Harden who said, being able to dunk the basketball is not a great talent. Well, James Harden has fell off a cliff since he's made that step. Giannis is went in the opposite direction. And I'm going to be honest, James Harden is an all-star. I don't put him in that superstar conversation anymore.
What about Zion, though, man? I feel like it's like, I think he's done. Like, I think it's just like, he was a good high school player. Like, he's not no good NBA player. He's too big. He's too big.
He get healthy. I don't see it.
But it's hard to come back from like injuries at a young age. Like, you freaking 20 years old, 21, 500 pounds, and you hurt already. Like, he's too big. That's not healthy.
Well, I'm gonna say this about Zion. Say injured, you can say he's hurt, whatever the case, but when you can windmill a basketball in the warm-ups and you can get out there and put that ball up like that, I want to see you on the court. So to me, I'm going to take it a step further and say, I think part of it is this generation. I think it's an entitled generation that if they're not playing where they want to be, or they're not being catered to in a certain kind of way, they are going to have a Ben Simmons type effect or a Zion Williamson type effect, because I'm going to put him in that same category, because I think foot was a problem at some point this year, but then I truly believe that he just didn't want to be out there on the court with those guys. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I think it's hurting him right now, because had he been on the court with these guys, I think they would have probably easily beat the Phoenix Suns. But I think that it's it's the mindset of the generation today. A lot of players don't they want to pick and choose where they want to play versus just showing up and performing. A lot of them don't like being told when they need to correct something or they need to improve something. And I think that's the biggest issue with a lot of the players today.
Yeah, that definitely that mentality of the privilege, and some of them believing, but it's a humbling moment, and I think what you see in both Zion as well as Ben Simmons, like, it's a humbling moment where now you probably in organizations, or you're going to be at an organization where you're going to be held accountable, and when it comes time to pay the piper, you're gonna have to sit up and break them pockets. So. One of the things, of course, every time someone comes on here, we is a bevy of questions which we have. So I have a couple of questions for y'all. Probably a little something that you're gonna have to think about. So I asked the question. We all know Mount Rushmore.
Yep.
Four heads of what was at that time particularly believed to be top presidents. So I asked y'all this question. On your basketball, you can say basketball, NBA, college, whoever, who is on your Mount Rushmore of basketball?
Like NBA, college, everything?
What? Yeah, we go fast. Saying who's on your Mount Rushmore of basketball?
Sheesh.
You said just 4 players, right?
Four players. 4 heads. That's all you get.
Who
I know what.
you want one of the guys to
I
go?
preference.
So I got
Yeah,
mine. I
either
got
one.
mine.
Okay, go ahead,
I
Thomas.
got
Go ahead.
mine. Shaq, Allen Iverson, Vince Carter. I love Vince Carter and LeBron James. Like that's just me.
Look, she face.
That is my Mount Rushmore. Not sure that's mine. That's my Mount Rushmore.
I need you to repeat that so you can hear it out loud when you say it. Say it one more time for the group.
Yeah, man. Shaq, LeBron, Vince Carter, AI. Cause me, I never watched no Michael Jordan. Like that was not me. Everybody, oh, he's. I never, everybody. I said he was good. Oh, he was good. Highlights. I saw the highlights. I was like, cool. But I just never know Michael Jordan fan though. That's just me. There was no Michael Jordan fan.
Understood.
There was no Michael Jordan.
No one realizes how real that is. Like people really believe. Like individuals come up and they be like, "I never saw Jordan, so I can't." Like,
yeah. It's just
understood. I see
LeBron James is my Michael
Vince
Jordan.
Carter.
Yeah.
You just put like a dunk out there, like because you
bro. That was my motivation, bro. I was man, Vince Carter, Insanity. Come on, man.
See, the Allen Iverson is your game, so I understand that one.
I gotta say, yeah.
Vince Carter was my man. I just love him, boy.
All right, Coach Jay, who y'all got?
You want to go, Coach? Or?
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and go. So this is me being unbiased here, right?
Okay.
I watched a lot of basketball. I grew up watching, ESPN classics, so I got a chance to see a lot of the older basketball to see how guys really impacted the game. So for me, that Mount Rushmore for me, I got to go. Michael Jordan has to be first on that list. And, you can call it me being from Chicago, whatever the case. MJ's number 1. Number 2, I'm going Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's number 2 on that list. Number 3, I am going to go LeBron James. I think that what he's done over a period of time through this generation is impressive. Not a huge LeBron fan, but respect where respect's given. I think that he's done it for a long time. Got to give him that respect. Number 4, I've got to go Tim Duncan. I think that
that's my
is consistently overlooked. I think that what he's done over his career with Popovich, during the time where you had really great basketball, Tim Duncan won 3 championships in 3 different decades. He is clearly on that Mount Rushmore. I don't care not being vocal, not being all that other crap that everybody says. Those are my 4: Kareem, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Tim Duncan.
Yeah, I like.
Mine's about similar, but the last one probably get y'all. So I do have Tim Duncan up there. That's my favorite. My favorite. I got to go with LeBron. He's been doing it for our generation. So, I got to go with Jordan. I have watched plenty of film. And then my last one, I got to go with Magic. Go with Magic. Go with Magic. I just like it because I feel like that's more of a related to me type of player. Like I feel like I can distribute a power forward to the one. He changed the game for a lot of people.
I can agree that I had some of those similar ones. I had mines when we set up and first came up with this and selected. Mines was of course Jordan, Magic, but I went kind of like maybe kind of off the reservation with my other 2, which one of them was Bill Russell. I went with Bill Russell, and then another one in which I went, of course, was just specifically for he has changed the game in my opinion was Steph Curry.
Yeah, I was kind of that same thing.
Yeah, so it had that in which a conversation that came up as we getting close to get out here because I just got a phone call where they need me at work. So what yesterday we had a discussion, right? This is one of the craziest things. Who wins in their primes? Dream Team or Redeem Team? That was a conversation that came up yesterday. So I want to get y'all takes on this. In their prime, does the Dream Team win, or does the Redeem Team win? 2012 versus 92 Olympic teams. Who's getting who's winning that? We talking about
That's tough. That's tough.
it was an interesting. It came up yesterday with Fort Campbell, and
I don't think the dream, like, to me, I don't think the Dream Team can match up.
Oh my God!
Oh,
Here you go.
Listen, because so I'm thinking about shooting wise, like they got 7-foot shooters, but they gonna win down low. The Dream Team gonna win down low. They gonna, but it's hard though, because it's two different eras. God damn, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard.
Like the rhetoric.
I'm gonna help.
Go ahead,
Thomas.
Coach.
It's clearly the Dream Team. The Dream Team would probably mop the floor with them. And let's be real. I'm gonna be honest with you. That Dream Team would be in touch. You had, I'll tell you right now where the game is gonna be won. The game will be won in the paint. When nobody, Patrick Ewing and David Robinson and Karl Malone, we're not gonna happen. Y'all will have nobody to even check them.
But when they get but they can't come out though and guard nobody though. They gotta,
But let me say this. I say Dream Team only because they were a lot more physical. So I feel like they would, over time, they would wear the team down. Like, there's great shooters, but if you wear a shooter down, they ain't got no legs in the third and fourth quarter. That third quarter, why they Patrick and them still turning around, hook shot or ducking on you? The shooters, your legs get tired, a little bit of pressure. Them boys care about full court. They don't.
You forget Larry Bird was on that.
Yeah, and not even Larry, and Chris Mullen. Like, Mullen used to get buckets, bro. Mullen used to come out there talking that NY stuff and get to.
Let me help you out, Tom, because I know that history a little fuzzy.
Scotty physicality.
Clearly one of the best defenders on that team. And if you don't remember, I want you to go back to the 91 finals when and look and see who was guarding, picking up Magic Johnson full court and just terrorize him the entire game. Scottie Pippen, if you look at the way he plays, he is a mixture of what you see with Ron and Kevin Durant today in terms of when they really want to play defense, what they look like.
Yeah,
Scottie did it all the time. So I think that Redeem Team is I'll be honest with you, they had really great pieces on it, but I got to go Dream Team all day long.
So some of the rhetoric that was discussed yesterday was who was guarding Kobe, who was guarding KD, who was guarding LeBron. What was said is that the X factor was going to be KD, of course. It was brung up that Dwight Howard was gonna give David Robinson buckets.
No,
stop it.
I know that's not gonna work. But
there was whoever made that comment was born after the 2000s.
Hey, stop it. No,
the only thing that was maybe the Reddit between, because it was me and Coach Parker that was basically like, nah, that's Dream Team all day. Yeah. And then what wasn't understood is, and what y'all just pointed out to, yes, Redeem Team can get buckets, but who's playing defense? Like
nobody.
Like,
they just want to outscore you.
Kobe was probably Kobe and Dwight was probably the only defensive stalwarts that was on that team. You gotta think they had Carmelo. Like it's like
no defense.
And then think about it. This day and age, we do a lot more pick and roll, right? A lot more pick and roll. Back then, whoever's guarding you, I'm busting your tail. That's all it was. They want no switching. I'm just gonna bust you straight up. That's hard to do. Like,
it was also the mentality too, though. So so you look at the Redeem, and I'll say this: I think basketball has evolved, since the Dream Team played. Mm-hmm. But what was the average margin of victory when the Dream Team?
Yeah, they was putting up 20, 30 points. They was crushing dudes.
Plus points. Mm-hmm. With the Redeem Team, basketball had evolved so much, and I'm gonna be honest. Cole made a good point. The game is so much more physical. Those boys, if you would allow it, and to me, I think it really depends on what era you play the game in. Because if you play it with more of a skill finesse game, I can understand why guys go Redeem Team. But if you play that game in the 90s before the 2000s, that Redeem team probably would lose that game by 20 plus points.
It's just mentality. The two, man. Like, hey, they gonna be up in your grill and they want you to drive to the paint. They want to hit you as soon as you get to the paint. Like, hey, don't nobody want to keep doing that. I don't care how big the bond is. I don't want to.
I can hear Larry Bird talking to him now.
Right?
Hey, young like they talking, they in your ear, like chirping.
And
you
then
got
back then, LeBron couldn't really shoot, so he had to go to the paint. Hey, shoot! No.
Oh man. So another question, probably the last one before you get ready to get up out of here.
Right.
5 players, right? 5 players. Y'all introspective. I'm a person that believes in inclusive words. So the inclusive word in here is most skilled. Who, if you put a team together, 1 through 5, point guard, center, power forward, small forward, 2,
Okay.
who is your most skilled person that you put in at each position? Most skilled in the NBA.
Current is history.
History.
The most skilled. Could I get AI at the 1?
If you feel he's the most skilled, that's the most skilled point guard.
AI at the skill, I think at the 1. I go T-Mac at the 2. I got T-Mac because if T-Mac Prime, I think he was the best to do it. And before the injuries, I think T-Mac was the best skill player to do it. The 3, that's kind of hard. I kind of like, if you're going to say skill, I got to go with either I like Vince Carter. I like his style, but I gotta go Vince Carter with skill. If you want skill, at the 4, I gotta say Giannis now. Yeah, Giannis is just Giannis or KD. I can go Giannis or KD right there because they stretch it out. And my 5 would be skilled. Gotta go with either Jokic or like skill wise. You gotta go either Jokic or Embiid. Like they kind of Jokic. I'll go Jokic. I'll take Jokic as a teammate any day of the week over Embiid. Any day. So that'll have to be my 5.
I'm gonna let Thomas go because I know it's gonna be wild as I don't know what.
No, because like I said, I like a hooper. Like me, I'm so simple. Like me, I'm gonna have one. I know it's gonna sound a little biased. One, I'm gonna have D-Rose. I like
interesting.
Prime. I like Prime. Like
okay, I like that.
I like the Rose. And 2, Steph. I gotta have Steph in there because Steph is I'm gonna put LeBron as my 3. Then I'm gonna put Durant as the 4.
Okay.
And I'm gonna slide Duncan to my 5. Cause he can do 4 and 5. So I'm gonna slide Duncan to my 5.
Big fundamental.
Yes, sir. So yeah, I'm telling y'all, Rose was a dog in his prime. Oh my God. God almighty.
A little bit of John Morant in him.
I get my 5 point guard wise, and we're talking history. If we're talking just straight skill, I'm going Steph Curry. I'll take Steph Curry at that point guard. Shooting guard, nobody's ever touching Michael Jordan, so I'm going MJ at number 2. Number 3, I will go in terms of just flat out skill. Everything. I would have to take Kevin Durant at that 3. At the 4, it's gonna come as a surprise, and I'm going deep into the Chicago roots here, but I'm going Kevin Garnett. At the 4.
KG
is probably one of the more skilled players.
I was thinking about it too.
A little bit of everything. Then at that 5th place, I think this is a player I think that could play in any era with his ability to actually stretch the floor, shoot, play defense, and his size. And I'm gonna go with David Robinson at the 5.
So of course this was this conversation came from a meme that I found in the don't stop. And so of course their most skilled players at each position. First was Kyrie Irving, point
I was
guard,
gonna
most skilled point
I can
guard.
see, I can see that.
Ridiculous.
Shoot, shooting guard, Kobe Bryant.
Somebody
Uh,
hate this.
Power, small forward, Kevin Durant.
okay.
Yeah.
Power forward,
LeBron James.
Anthony Davis.
Oh,
Go, where you go, man?
no.
Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis, most skilled power forward, and lastly, most skilled center, Hakeem Olajuwon.
Okay.
Okay.
I can deal with that.
I
Anthony
like
Davis.
AD, most skilled
I-
power forward.
yeah.
I don't-
Team of- yeah,
don't know
that
if
is
he-
probably we all missed. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yes, and where you can see it when you think about it. But I guess you're looking at like what power forward do we know, and I guess you depend because now the basketball is more positionless at this point, so you can kind of like slide. And I mean, come on, the def lineup from Golden State is ran by maybe the tallest person is a power forward.
Yeah.
When you got when you look at Draymond, so it's more positionless. But Kyrie, Kobe, Kevin Durant, KD, AD, and the Dream.
They could have gave me Dirk Nowitzki and I've been all right.
I'm trying to understand Irving. Like how is Kyrie Irving? Like,
So I was going to say that, but I know how y'all be like, oh, G just be talking. But to me, bro, Kyrie is the most productive point guard to me because he do it like
But
to me.
he said skill.
He is a point guard. Like he gonna make sure he's skilled. He's skilled. He's very skilled.
in terms of skill for Kyrie Irving, right? Kyrie Irving has probably the best. He's got the best ball control in the league.
Yeah.
And he can get you a basket, but he let's be honest, he ain't touching Stephen Curry when it comes to skill at that point. Not even close.
What do Steph do better besides shoot? I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
I mean, that's in terms of being able to shoot. I think Steph Curry has handles just as good as Kyrie.
Nah, Steph is not. Steph is, man, every time they play, he kills Steph.
And I'll tell you this, I think a skill set, and I'm going coach mode here a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It being mature and being a selfless teammate is also a skill set as well.
Look, Coach,
And
we talking about
right now, Stephen Curry being able to sit on that bench and allow Jordan Poole and allowing somebody else to develop into their role is also a skill set. You tell me where Kyrie Irving has taken a selfless role like that in his career, because if we want to go back and take a look at what he did in Cleveland when he had Deion Waiters out there, he ran him out of there. When he had an opportunity to develop Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, he got up out of there because the team wasn't going to pick him. And now, when he had an opportunity to develop some guys out there in Brooklyn, he doesn't have that's a skill set I think that he's missing. So to me, I look at a player like Steph Curry, and Steph Curry it's an easy selection today because you will never find another player doing the things that he's doing today from a total package. You're not going to find it. Kyrie Irving can't touch Stephen Curry, not even in the same conference.
So I got one quick question. So do y'all think Durant had it easier than LeBron James?
Absolutely.
I looked at his teams. He had some hoopers.
Absolutely.
Durant had some hoopers. Like
If Durant had it easier than LeBron?
Yes.
No, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think both of them cheated the game in a way. I think that LeBron had he stayed in Cleveland, we wouldn't have it wouldn't even be questioning this whole GOAT conversation. Kevin Durant just took it to another level in terms of joining a super team. LeBron put one together, and everywhere he's been since he left Cleveland the first time, he's had to play with superstar type talent. So Kevin Durant didn't have it easier. I think that he's just part of the generation that doesn't want to work for anything. These guys got to have it handed to them in order for them to be considered the greatest of anything.
Okay, so what Name 3 superstars LeBron has ever played with. Like superstars, not all-star, but superstars. That's just gonna show enough. They're superstars. Cause I don't think he has had superstars. He done had some pretty good all-stars like Ray Allen and all them other guys, but he not have no Steph Curry. He ain't had no Durant, no
I think
Kyrie, James Harden.
I think D-Wade.
D-Wade is see.
Superstar to me.
D-Wade is he right now. He's like so he's a superstar probably because of his knowledge of the game.
Every time LeBron has won, he's had multi All-Stars on his team now. He had a superstar like what Kevin Durant did in Golden State. But even in the first Cleveland year, people sleep on Kevin Love. Kevin Love was a 2020 All-Star. Kyrie Irving was an up-and-coming All-Star. Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade were All-Stars. Ray Allen was a Hall of Famer. You go out to the LA Lakers and you had Dwight Howard, who in my opinion is a Hall of Famer, and you also had Anthony Davis, who was an All-Star as well. So no, Kevin Durant has played with the superstar in Stephen Curry, but LeBron James, like, come on, man, let's stop this. LeBron James has played with some great teams. Every team that he's won with has been a super team. So I'm sorry. He
Durant had Westbrook. He had Harden. He had Serge Ibaka. Like he had a that was up 3-1 on the freaking Golden State, and they came back and beat them.
He's had it easier though. I think that they both have had really great talent that they play with, but Kevin Durant clearly had it easier in Golden State when he won. But I'm not missing what LeBron James has done. LeBron James had it just easy in every championship that he's won.
People want to play with LeBron James.
And also, when you think about it now, there I think is more. If you look at the lay of the land now, it seems seemingly is going away from the super teams, even though they continue to try to build them. But the teams that are giving problems now, look at Golden State, organically built.
Milwaukee,
Phoenix, Milwaukee. Look at what's going on in Memphis right now. Like these teams are drafting. And developing, hoopers. Like it's clear cut. Like Durant, Ja Morant
is a dog. He different.
And he was out 22 games, 25 games, and they only lost 4 of those 25 games with him out. Like that's a testament to even one, the ability of your squad and the player development and the scouting of the team. Or additionally, like I just said, strictly the players in which they got that mentality of I can get it too. This ain't Ja's team. So
and knowing their role. As they know their role.
Definitely the role. Yeah.
Man. Like I tell folks, man, if you like that's the biggest thing with any hooper, any team. If you don't know your role and you play outside of coach saying a system, you would not be great, bro. Coach always saying, trust me, believe in the system, trust me. I tell guys, I said, bro, listen, bro, we know Coffield, leader, scorer, whatever. Me, I'm a hype man, but we have some dudes that they don't want to play their role because there was that dude on their last team. Mm-hmm. On your last team, you was that guy, but this is a new team, so just come in, sit down, shut up, know your role.
Yeah, that's a testament to military basketball. I think that was one of the last conversations I had with all of my guys at the practice we did on Tuesday. And that's one of them that, it's important to understand that everybody, can put the ball in the basket, but, on a team, everybody has to be a star in their individual role. So I may need you to go out and get rebounds, or I may need you to defend, or I may need you to be a hype man on the bench. But if you are not a star in that role, then it's not going to succeed. And I think a lot of times what happens is when guys come together, everybody always says, I want to play. That's because they want to score. They think that just by scoring, they are being an impactful piece of a team. And a lot of times I may look and put a guy on the floor who's just bringing energy. That energy is infectious. If I put that energy from the bench onto the floor, It helps you out in such a great deal. And being a star in your role, understanding your role, like that is the challenge. I think that a lot of players today, they struggle with. They don't understand what is my role on this team. And even when they're told what their role is, they still don't want to accept this is what I do to be successful. This team, what I've done in the past to be successful. What can I do for this specific team to be successful? And that's why Curry, I'm sorry, Thomas, I'm putting him above Kyrie. No, I'm just kidding.
No. Okay, so if you had to like start a franchise, who would you start with? One guy. Who would you build your whole team around?
Michael Jordan.
Okay. Cause you know, I'm gonna say LeBron because a lot of folks want to play with him. So like he gonna make sure you have a nice team. So
for about 2 to 3, then it's gonna be in the trash after that.
you don't like LeBron, man. Jordan decent. Jordan is not better than LeBron James, but we're not gonna. I ain't gonna speak on that though.
On my Mount Rushmore, so out of respect, he's up there. But you go look at the history. I give LeBron James 3-4 years, and that team will be in the lottery.
Oh man.
You want 6 rings over 8 years. You pick Michael Jordan. That's all I'm saying.
But he didn't start winning until he got Scotty though. So come on, man. That's really Scotty team though. No, come on. Let's be honest now. Scotty led almost every stat though. Look, in one NBA Finals, this man LeBron James led every stat. Jordan has never led every single stat. But we ain't gonna speak on that though. Hey, you got it, coach. You got it now. You got it now. LeBron led every stat on both teams. Come on now.
Hey, look, I see why he get on everybody's skin at practice.
Man,
they hate me at practice, man.
Can't listen to half the stuff Thomas.
They hate me at practice.
Other parties, he trying to get you up. He trying to get up under your skin. He don't even believe the stuff he's saying. Stop.
They hate me at practice, man.
Oh man.
So of course, like I was saying earlier, we come close to our time. I wish we could continue to rock with it, but I know one coach got to get up to San Antonio, even though it's not too far from Fort Hood. We greatly appreciate y'all coming on today and sharing y'all story with you, talking about CTX, schooling us as Thomas has been giving us all the intricacies of his era and what and how he's more dominant than the past areas and the areas that come before and greatness. But you know what I'm saying, everyone, of course everyone has their opinion and everything. So his matters to him, and that's all it needs to do for the most part. But of course, like you said, CTX, y'all, if y'all down in the San Antonio area this weekend, be sure to go check out and yet another team, as we already talked to Colorado CMB, CTX, Central Texas, Fort Campbell, we'll talk to. Fort Polk is going to be down there. Like everyone keeps talking about Jackson. Hey, it's going to catch a whole vibe down there. If you're in the San Antonio area, be sure to check out the National Military Basketball Tournament. Entertainment, a whole vibe. If y'all was listening the other day, they're talking about the different things in which they're doing. The projects are potentially growing it even more. Be sure to go follow, watch. Where were the games we played? I don't even have the flyer in front of me.
Warhawk and Chaparral Fitness Center.
Yes, Warhawk and Chaparral Fitness Centers, Applewhite. So if y'all in the area or travel to the area, ain't got nothing to do, pull up, check out the CMB, check out the National Basketball Tournament, Military Basketball Nationals, and of course we're gonna be back here to talk about it in some aspect and form. as we continue to get set for the NBA. As I know, as we said, Memorial Day weekend with the West Conference being played in Las Vegas, the East Conference being played in Phoenix City, Alabama, and then the finals, of course, July 14th that weekend being played in Denver, Colorado. Hey, this is where it's at. This is where y'all get to hear, gentlemen. Before we get out of here, any last words, anything y'all got to say?
Next time we talk, we're gonna be national championships, baby. Baby.
I appreciate you having us on big time,
Yes,
man.
yes, sir.
Please support.
Yeah.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
Trey, thanks again.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate the invite and having Fort Hood come on and talk. And these are my guys, man. I rock with these guys all day long. Thomas Cole, this is the last event I'm gonna have with these guys, man.
Yeah.
I love everything we've done this year, and shout out and respect to everybody who's helped the program this year. And I'm looking forward to some great basketball. And Trey, thanks again, man. I appreciate. I know you've been reaching out and trying to get me on, and thank you so much, man.
Yes, sir. Oh, no problem, sir. You can say do it what exactly what I have to do. I greatly appreciate y'all coming on. Of course, continue if y'all do. Y'all know tonight, NFL heads and all those type of speeds.
Oh
Check
yeah.
this out, high speeds.
The
The
draft.
draft is tonight. Your squads who you follow in San Francisco. Well, we ain't got no first round picks, but but in any case. We don't know by the end of the night. Maybe we will. You know what I'm saying? It's possible. Anything's possible. But be sure to check that out. I think 6:30. Check that 6:30. E2G Sports, which we'll have the E2G Sports Network. Their personalities, myself included. Draft party. I'll be in my office. I got softball going on, but I'll be up in my office, connected, doing what I can do till I get home. Check out E2G Brands, E2G Sports. To check out to see what's going on is a draft special talking about that. Of course, tomorrow morning we'll be covering here. We'll be covering. I think tomorrow we'll have back, if y'all been checking, G Solo Giovanni for the women's football alliance. Of course, Houston Energy. Her and Brian Wiggins are gonna try to get on so they can come on talk about. They got a dub this weekend at 38. I think it was 38-6 blowing out. So I mean, if y'all don't know, women's football is where it's at. You can check it right here.
It's
We'll
time.
be talking about it. So, of course, I look forward to seeing y'all. Y'all know first formation every Monday through Friday for the most part, 09 to 1100 hours. That's 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for those civilian-minded individuals. And we all can check us back here. Next week, Bishop will be back. We got to talk to him. Brooklyn got swept. Bishop, we ain't heard from you. You got some explaining to do. Hey, we really appreciate y'all checking us today. Look forward to see y'all tomorrow at this time. High speeds. Y'all can go ahead and fall out. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.